What's up, guys? FABTCG here, and you guessed it, today we are talking about the new girl on the block, Vynsett. Vynsett is the new Shadow Runeblade hero that will be taking up the mantle where Chain fell to fight back against Solana in the War of the Monarchs, in the next supplemental set for Flesh and Blood, Dusk Till Dawn. If you know me and you've been a fan of the channel for a long time, you know how much I love Runeblades. They're my main class. They're the main set of heroes that I started playing Flesh and Blood with all the way back when Monarch first came out. Chain was the first hero I ever built a deck for. He was the first hero I ever played. I moved over to Briar later on and kind of have been my local groups, you know, the Green Tree Sports Card crew. I've kind of been the local Briar main, so to speak, for the past two years now. And there's a new Runeblade on the block, and we saw the first image of her young art by Federico Musetti. Fantastic artwork piece. But they just announced the June 2023 Armory Kit, which will be the first Dusk Till Dawn kit where you can go to your local game store, you know, get some prizes, play for some prizes, and essentially kind of get a sneak peek at Dusk Till Dawn in terms of what's coming up in this summer season for Flesh and Blood. So here we are with it. This is the June 2023 Armory Kit. We have 4, and I'm going to go through each of these cards individually because this deserves a whole video. Like, this is a big info dump, whether LSS realizes it or not. Like, this was a big out of left field drop. So we're going to be getting 4 times Flail of Agony, which is a one-handed Shadow Runeblade flail weapon. That is also a Vynsett specialization. So the only hero that can run that weapon is Vynsett and Shiana. So Shiana gets buffed, I guess. There in this kit, there will also be 33 extended art rainbow foil Phantom Banshee cards. Phantom Banshee is a new Shadow Runeblade attack. We will discuss. The next thing in there is this playmat with this like shadow-esque, like fallen angel looking dude on it. It's apparently a card called Requiem for the Damned, and being the metalhead that I am, I don't even care what the card does. You named a card Requiem for the Damned. That's my favorite card automatically. Honestly, like, you name a card something like that as a metal fan, I'm just in love. I am so elated right now, guys. And then 1 Dusk Till Dawn general use playmat, and that is the box art kind of unfolded and spread out across a giant stained glass mural, which is a beautiful playmat also. And then, of course, marketing, Armory events and marketing posters. But what's this? What's this on the marketing poster? Huh? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna get at here. So let's break this down bit by bit. Why don't we break this down bit by bit? So first off, we got Flail of Agony. Flail of Agony is a Vynsett specialization. Once per turn action, pay a 1 life to attack with it. When this hits, create a rune chant token. This already tells me that Vinsett's probably going to have some kind of trigger ability that says, like, on your turn, when you lose life, banish a card from the top of your deck. Maybe it gains go again or something like that. We'll see how that plays, but, you know, just early thoughts on this is the fact that it's a one-handed flail. It's a one-handed flail, so are we getting a Runeblade offhand by chance in Dusk Till Dawn? Maybe we do. And I think this is a nice answer to kind of the Rosetta Thorn problem. You know, like I said, I've played Briar for so long that, like, I get it. Rosetta Thorn, everybody loves to hate it. It is a pain to kind of block. Towards the end of a game, it's a good way to shut things down. And the problem with it isn't necessarily that it's a great weapon, it's that it could be used in any Runeblade. So if Briar's still sticking around, come Dusk Till Dawn, like Vynsett might just use Rosetta Thorn, honestly, for like the 5 minutes she might be allowed to. So we'll see how that goes, but right now her special weapon is Flail of Agony, and that's what we're working with. When this hits, create a Runechant token. The Runechant token generation might be more valuable than Rosetta Thorn. I don't know what her game plan looks like yet. But aside from that, we have Flail of Agony, Phantom Banshee, which, I mean, you've probably seen this on Twitter already, all over the place. Twitter, you know, gets to this stuff before the YouTube videos do, but Phantom Banshee is a new Shadow Runeblade action with a new Runeblade specific mechanic called Rune Gate. Rune Gate says if you control Runechants equal to or greater than Phantom Banshee's resource cost, you may play it from your banish zone without paying its resource cost. So essentially for Phantom Banshee, if it's in your banish zone and you have 3 or more Runechants, you can play this from your banish zone for free. And it's different than the Arcane Rising reduction cards in the sense of those are an actual reduction to cost. Phantom Banshee is with Rune Gating is specifically you have to have that many Runechants. So there is a bit of an interchangeable difference there. They're not quite the same mechanic. Phantom Banshee kind of feels a little more fair. In the end, you have to have this thing in Banish Zone, which also threatens Blood Debt, which might actually be something Vynsett wants. We don't know yet. But a 7 for 3 that could potentially be a 0 for 10, so long as the conditions are met, seems pretty good to me in Runeblade. I've discussed a couple like theoretical lines that you can make with some of the existing Shadow and Shadow Runeblade cards that involve Phantom Banshee, and yeah, I mean, like, it's gonna take some time. We're gonna have to see some more of these Rune Gate cards, but this Rune Gate mechanic seems really, really neat, and it seems like she's going to want to be making a lot of Runechants. So that's a thing. That is a thing. And let's go to the next thing. The Requiem of the Damned playmat. So this has me curious because, first off, this is an angel. This is very clearly an angel of some sort. We've got some kind of like heavy metal abstract, like, you know, cult / like Lucifer-esque fallen angel vibes going on here. And I really, really would like to know what the halo says here, but I am a big fan of this art. It's called Requiem for the Damned. I'm really curious to see what this card does. I'm assuming it's probably gonna either be like a rare or maybe like wishful thoughts. It might end up being a majestic of some sort. But one thing I want to point out about it is this orb in the scepter. This orb inside of the scepter is very reminiscent to the orb that's in the middle of Ursur's like face, like that kind of makes up Ursur's face. Ursur being the demon that is connected to Chain, which has me wondering if maybe Ursur isn't the one kind of pulling the strings. Maybe Ursur himself might be a puppet of some sorts to this higher deity or whatever in the lore. I'm really interested to see how that goes and to see how this kind of pans out. Which kind of leads me to my next and final like big thing. I think we got Vinsett's adult art, guys. I think this is Vynsett. This is Vinsett's adult art, and what's really interesting to me about this, and I'm gonna see if I can zoom in on it a little bit. What really interests me about her design is that she doesn't look like she is exactly alive. Like, if you take one good look at her, it looks like there's like cobwebs coming off of her, almost as if she's like dead, kind of. And I have kind of a lore theory behind that maybe, because if you look at this looks like, on first glance, this looks like a tower shield, but to me, it kind of looks like almost like a conduit sort of thing. Like, if Vynsett is going to be creating all of these like demons or bringing things through the dimensional rift through rune gates, I have to wonder if like the way to open up rune gates is by essentially like using a human body host as a conduit. And I wonder if Vynsett is that conduit, or maybe one of many conduits that the monastery has available to them. She looks very much like almost like she's being like puppeted, like she's not fully in control of herself. Like she looks like it's almost as if she might just be like a reanimated corpse, like ready to go. Like this looks like almost like a runic like shell casing that could be used to maybe like harness or contain her power while like they're performing Rune Gate rituals that open up rifts and let things through. It's kind of a really twisted and dark take on, you know, Runeblade, and I really like this character design. I really think this is an awesome piece of art. And you know, she's got all these spikes going through her. She has, you know, you can see a little bit of like the arcane flare, like aether flares popping off of like the side of like these spikes. So it's gonna be really interesting to read more about Vynsett and what Vinsett's role is in this entire thing. I know I'm personally very excited to be playing Vynsett. I'm imagining she might end up being a little more tuned to what Viscerai was, where you kind of have a more mid-rangey, like sit back a little bit, build up your like pool of rune chants, and then, you know, when the time's right, you just kind of unleash a big attack. But maybe with a few little twists and turns in her kit, given that she has access to shadow cards. So she might be kind of a Runeblade that plays a little bit differently than past Runeblades, and it's going to be interesting to see what that means and how that is going to affect the class going forward. And the reason I care so much is because it's my favorite class in the game. So I think it's pretty apparent that like I will be doing a lot of content on Vynsett once we get closer, once we know what more is coming from her kit. I definitely think that Dusk Till Dawn is going to be a banger set. I can't, with the return of Prism and the return of Shadow Runeblade in the form of Vynsett, which just looks badass all the way through, I cannot see Dusk Till Dawn being a bad set by any means. This is going to be a great set. So, you know, if you want to hop on the Shadow train with me and, you know, go straight to Vynsett Town, make sure you get those cards that you're going to need to play Shadow Runeblade or play Runeblade in general. A lot of them are starting to spike, so I would get on that quick, guys. You know, you got Spellbound Creepers, Revel in Runeblood, Swarming Gloomveil, all of the Runeblade staples, and maybe even some of the Shadow staples like Shadow Puppetry is another card, the Majestic from Monarch, and maybe Runeblood Barrier from Arcane Rising might be a good one for Vynsett. It's just a lot of speculating on, you know, what previous Runeblade cards are going to be actively utilized in her kit. I think Dimensional Gateway might have some legs with her, because you're essentially able to, say you start your turn with 3 rune chants, you're able to essentially play Dimensional Gateway, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and say you see Phantom Banshee, you can banish that right off the top of the deck, deal one arcane to your opponent, and then play out Phantom Banshee for 0 for 10. You know, like you could block with your whole hand except Dimensional Gateway, and maybe a resource card, and then go at it that way. So I think Dimensional Gateway, just having seen Phantom Banshee and what the Rune Gate mechanic might be, I think Dimensional Gateway might be a great card for Vynsett. So that's something to definitely keep your eye out on whenever you're looking at how am I going to approach this hero. You know, we don't know what her ability is yet, so it's really hard to tell, really hard to tell if any of that kind of synergizes. But I definitely think her ability will have something to do with life loss, and using life as a resource to your advantage. So I'm really excited to see how that plays out. It's kind of a mechanic that has not been explored all that much with Flesh and Blood, other than in like fatigue decks where, you know, rather than life as a resource, life is, you know, just infinite. Like looking at you, Yoji and Oldhim, those fatigue lists. But I think Vynsett and Prism are going to have a pretty sizable shakeup in the going meta. As of right now, I'm not really playing much competitively. I have a lot going on with the Green Tree Sports Cards and Realm Games Brawl. I will actually be working media for the Brawl. I will not be... I will, kind of be walking around, meeting people, hanging out, playing games, and I'll also be doing my Ready to Roll challenge, Blitz challenge at the Green Tree Sports Cards booth for an exclusive playmat. So if you guys are coming to Pittsburgh next weekend, May 27th, 28th, Classic Constructed Brawl, May 27th, win yourself a Realm Tour invite. Sunday, Battle Hardened, Pittsburgh. Be there. Be there. And if you see me, and there's no way you're not going to see me, come say hi, come chill. I'll be at the Speakeasy as well for the Realm Games, Classic Constructed Brawl, and all that fun stuff. So you know what? Like, we're going to have a good Flesh and Blood weekend. I'm not, like I said, not partaking too much in RTN season. I'm playing in one RTN, just because of how kind of like the dice fell this time around. I'm not too bummed about it. I'm just looking forward to the future right now, and the future for me is Vincent. So that's where we're at, guys. If you have any questions or anything, be sure to drop me a comment, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. Sin out.